So for those that are watching that clean tile and wondering why am I using the CRB on there, if you have good chemistry, it should clean up, and you are correct. But I listen to what the client tells me, and the client told me that they have been here for 5 years and it hasn't been professionally cleaned, and who knows if it was professionally cleaned before they purchased the home. So just like when you're doing the dishes, if your hand's scrubbing them, you see stuff come off a lot faster, right? So when I have that long of a period since it was, potentially professionally cleaned, I take that into account that there may be some impacted soils in the grout joints, and this tile is slightly textured. So before I went over some of this area, you can see the dirt on the surface and those pits of the textured pieces of tile. So I will take the CRB out and pre-agitate it before I rinse it, because there has been a few jobs where I literally had to go back, put the cleaning agent back down, and then rinse it again. And once I ran the CRB over it, boom, it came right off like no problem. So that's why I'm doing it, because of those types of situations that sometimes come up. So you got to consider that. So that's why I asked that question to qualify the job. When was the last time it was professionally cleaned? And if they say, well, not since we've been here, then the follow-up question, how long have you been here? And then that tells me what I should do. So that's why I went ahead and brought the CRB over here. Basically everything is just cleaning right up, and then I just gotta detail the edges. I know somebody asked me that, and I responded, I believe in the comment of a previous video, how I get the edges. If there's something we can't reach with this tool, a lot of times we're doing it by hand to clean those spaces. So that's how we would get it done. If it comes down to it, we'll get down there and hand scrub areas that are tough to get with a tool like this. And on occasion we get questions of what tool this is, and how can we buy one. This is called a turbo hybrid, or TH40. You do have to have a portable machine that can handle I think at least 800 PSI in order to operate this tool. So, and this tool by itself is around $900 to $1,000 to purchase. So if you're thinking you could buy it just for your own home use, you'd be spending probably at least $4 to $5 grand to be able to do what we're doing, bare minimum, prior to the CRB. But then if you buy a CRB, the one we have is a little over $2,000. So now you're $6,000 to $7,000+ in, depending on the machine you get that can handle this tile cleaning. So I just wanted to kind of tell people that, in case that same person or another person is watching and is curious about it. I wouldn't recommend spending that much money on something that you're going to use probably once or twice in a 2 or 3 year span. Just for you to do it by yourself. If you have a job or a house this size of the one we're doing right now, you'd be spending like 10 times to probably 15 times more to do it yourself than to hire a professional. So just a little thought of the day here to consider if you're wanting to do it yourself. But if you're wanting to go into business for yourself and do stuff like this, then I highly suggest it. Get some training. If you're really serious about it, I would even consider working for somebody for a couple years or a year, picking any class you can find, especially if it's hands-on, to learn as much as you can from different people, because I have found that I learned some things that I didn't know in the past, because I took some other classes that were similar with different instructors. I learned a couple of little tips for a couple situations that I never thought of just because another instructor showed me. So something to consider. If you're going in completely no experience and wanting to start a business like this, I mean, it's not impossible. It just will be harder. So you want to take business classes on systems. If you could do one that's more specific to this industry, that'll help you significantly. We have done it for both carpet and tile cleaning side of our business and the house cleaning side. And while we had a lot of things in place because of my wife's experience with running payroll and some scheduling in my 9 years, a little over 9 years of experience working for other companies, we had a lot of stuff kind of figured out already. But we learned a lot of stuff from these classes that we took. So that's why if you're going in with zero experience, you won't fail as long as you get the right people in your corner by taking those classes to help you start out on the right foot. Now, I'm trying to remember the name of the class we took like 4 years ago. I believe it was called Strategies for Success. This was the one that was more business-oriented, numbers, and things like that than it was cleaning. It was, Strategies for Success. It was a class that was offered through a company called John Don, Jondon. The instructors were awesome. I don't know if they're still doing those classes in person or not, but if they still have it available, I'd suggest it. I think it was a 5-day class at the time when we took it. This was pre-COVID, so that's why it was in person and 5 days. It was like 4 days of different business things, and 1 day of marketing. So very helpful, worth it, and that'll help you get going. Another thing to look out for when you're cleaning tile is a little speck here. See how this is higher up than here? It's probably a little hard to tell in the video, or here to here. You can feel it by running your finger across. This tile is different. You can kind of see some slight color change here. There used to be a wall here from what she told me, and this was the closest they can get the tile to match. And it is actually loose. And one way you could find out is it's fine over here, but as I get closer, you hear that hollow sound. That means the tile is loose and not all the way down. So if you come across that when you're cleaning, it's best to mention it to them too. So that way if it becomes more of a problem down the road, they're aware of it and can have it repaired if needed. But you can tell, especially right there, it looks like it dips down quite a bit because the gap from the baseboard to the floor starts to grow when it gets here. So that's how I can tell there's a difference. Or you can run a credit card across the tile from one to the other, and if you run into it like this and can't go across it, then that tells you there's lippage. So it's here again. It's exactly where this newer tile is put, these two tiles here, and then the old tile, there's lippage, so it's not completely level. So sometimes letting clients know that is helpful because your grout appearance, even after a cleaning, may look uneven, and that's because you got different grout joints with different heights, and sometimes it reflects light differently. It may look darker. Grout variations may be present, you know, if it's aged grout too, and the floor is just uneven, it was installed unevenly, you're going to end up with appearance differences because you got different levels of grout, and it could have got installed wrong, poorly, or whatever the case may be. It could be just worn out grout too. Doesn't necessarily always pertain to that scenario, but everyone that I've done that's had significant differences in heights between tiles have posed a visual difference. If there's missing grout and it's a little deeper down in one spot and then comes back up to normal because some of the grout broke out, that area, say for example right here, it's going to look different because it's not a flush grout joint. So it'll naturally look a little darker usually in most cases. So you got to watch out for those things and then bring it up to your client so they're aware, so they're not wondering or automatically thinking that's just dirt, because it isn't in most cases. But if you go and wipe it like I am right now and you get dirt off, well, there's your sign that it needs to be gone over again. You know, adjust your chemistry, your method, or like I was saying earlier, you should be running the CRB over it so that way you can get that impacted soil out better. So hopefully this helps somebody.